Hey Bubble family, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about The Crown. So yes, I have been watching it. I've watched, to be honest, I have watched it the whole way through, purely and simply because I'm curious as to how they portray the characters, how true to life it is, and I think it does intrigue me with the fact that the people that are against the monarchy seem to think that this is a documentary when it's not. So I thought I would give my verdict on what I think and what I feel about Harry associating himself with Netflix, which is obviously running The Crown. So if you'd like to join me in this discussion, then please do. If you don't know what to do by now, you should. It is grab your drink of choice, whether it be tea, whether it be coffee, whether it be a glass of grape juice, whether it be a glass of, which I have today. I'm being healthy. So I've drunk a glass of water. And if you'd like to add a little something to that drink, because as I always say, it is 5 o'clock somewhere. So grab your drink and let's dive right in. So hey Bubbles, so for those of you who have asked about the flag, so okay, I need to be at the moment, now please excuse the duvet and everything else that's behind me. I have got stuff piled on my bed because today the carpets went in my office and in another bedroom. So I have had to pile everything in here that was in those rooms. So I haven't had a chance to take them out yet. So for those of you who are kind of like, what on earth is going on behind you? That is what is going on behind me. So at some point I will be putting things in my office. I am so excited. It won't be ready for probably a week or so because I've got a shelving unit that's coming that needs to go in, but I've got my desk, I've got my chair, I've got just bits and bobs that are going to go in, and I'm excited to have my shelving unit up because then I can put all the little things that people have sent me on the shelving unit. And the 5 o'clock somewhere flag will go in my office. So the reason why it's not in here is because I'm still working with clients. And sometimes when I video chat, I'm working with clients that have addictions. So it's not really appropriate to have 5 o'clock somewhere flag behind me when I am working with clients. So for those of you who are worried that I've just got rid of the flag, I haven't. It's here. It will make an appearance in my office because at least then when I'm there, I can move the camera so anyone that I'm working with that has got addictions that might be upset by that, they won't see it. But for the rest of you, you will. It's just where I'm sitting here, there is nowhere else for it to go where someone couldn't see it. So I hope that makes sense. So, The Crown. Now, I think if you're watching The Crown and you're looking at it as entertainment purposes only, it's not bad. It's not bad. You know, if you didn't kind of really care too much, say, for example, about the royal family, or even the fact that you're just intrigued by certain elements of the royal family and the way that they've portrayed, you know, the scenery, the styling, you know, that is pretty good, I will say. I actually think that they've got the characters pretty much spot on. So I think that is what I think, because I wasn't sure at first, to be honest, when I saw that, especially this particular season, but they portray the mannerisms very well. I mean, when Emma Corrin that played Diana in season 4, I thought, I'm not sure how they can top that because she really did play her very, very well. But this lady, and forgive me, I am really bad with names, especially at the moment. I probably should write them down, but I don't want to come on here with loads of notes. I just kind of want to be natural. And at the end of the day, if I don't remember something, I don't remember it. You know, I don't want to come across as if I'm like super clever and I'm remembering everything. I don't all the time. And especially having the menopause, the brain fog is just unbelievable. So the lady that plays the new Princess Diana, and I'm sure that you will tell me in the comments, she's brilliant, I have to say. I was surprised. She plays her very well. Now, what I don't like, and I'm going to get to Harry in a minute, what I don't like is what it feels to me as I'm slowly watching this. Now, I might be wrong, but there feels as if there's a hint of Meghan in the portrayal of Diana. The way they kind of portray, as in the things that they say, oh, an outsider, you know, they really emphasize, you know, Diana being an outsider, and she's, you know, she's different. She's got all these different ideas, and the palace are really against that. Which, don't get me wrong, I'm sure that they didn't like the fact that some of the things that she did, but it just feels as if they're really homing in on how awful the royal family are. And especially there's one scene where apparently Diana's brakes failed. Now, I've done a bit of research on that, and apparently she was concerned that her brakes something did happen to her brakes, but it wasn't as if she was portraying it as in the palace were against her. They're portraying Diana in this particular season as incredibly paranoid. And apparently people that have spoken about her, that were close to her brother and the doctor that she dated, said that, you know, she had concerns, but she wasn't as paranoid as what she's being portrayed in this season. And they really home in on this, like her brakes failed when she's driving through London and it's all panicky and she thinks that she's going to be bumped off. And I feel that this is kind of obviously leading up to the terrible tragedy that happened. And I feel this is so negligent. You know, I feel so sad for the royal. I mean, are they perfect? No. But I think, is any family perfect? And you've got a family that's just so much in the public eye that it's almost like they're held to a huge high standard that I don't think anyone could match or live up to. And I just feel this portrayal of an incredibly insensitive, cold, childish Prince Charles, then, you know, to this paranoid Princess Diana who just comes across as a complete mess. And I just think, why? You know, for a start, we know how much the royal family are against the crown. We know that. They don't like how it's being portrayed. So it kind of says to me that the people that they've got some of their information off could be quite biased in how things played out. And that concerns me, because again, it's like, this is going into, you know, the first, you know, kind of year of King Charles. All of this stuff is coming out about his affair with Camilla again. And this has been done to death. And it just feels that it's just going to stir up all of these things again, because sadly, a lot of Americans, not all, and we talk about the ones that usually the ones that are Harry and Meghan fans, believe that The Crown is a documentary, like it's true to life. They don't seem to grasp the fact that this is loosely based on real events. The rest is embellished. And then, you know, so I kind of just feel that this is kind of leading up to then more for this like sympathizer of Meghan. It's kind of like, oh, Meghan was the same as Diana. She was an outsider. You know, she's come into the royal family and she had all these like grand ideas and they didn't like it, which I'm sure there's an element of that. But we also know that Meghan is a narcissist, whereas Princess Diana, I don't believe was. Did she have narcissistic traits? Possibly, but there's a big difference between having narcissistic traits. A lot of people in the public eye have narcissistic traits. Anyone can have that. Anyone that does social media, for example. But it's a world away from having narcissistic personality disorder, which I believe, and it's not a diagnosis, but I believe, going by the way that I have watched her behave, watched how she's been with Harry, and in other situations, I do believe that she has narcissistic personality disorder, to the extreme level. So it just feels as if they're just lining this up to be, again, oh, poor Meghan. You know, poor Meghan, she was the outsider. She was just like Diana. And I don't know, I might be wrong. But that's that's what my intuition is telling me. That's the vibe I'm kind of getting from this. Like a few things I'm like, you know, and I trust my instincts, because I think when something pops into my kind of thought process, I'm kind of like, well, there's a reason for that. And there's a few times it's come up where a scene has come up and I'm like, it's almost as if they're talking about Meghan here. And of course, Meghan and Harry are attached to Netflix. So I do wonder if there's some influence there. I don't know. I could be wrong. And then this leads me then to the fact that they will be, I believe, touching on the terrible thing that happened, which I think is such poor taste. And I think it is awful to do this again. I'm hoping that they just perhaps allude to it and they don't actually show it in any detail. I think that would be disgusting, bearing the fact that it is based on a real event that caused such trauma in a lot of people, not just in William and Harry, but also, you know, Princess Diana's family and people and friends that were close to her. So it then kind of, and then I've seen sort of people like Dan Wootton speaking out and saying, you know, Harry, you know, step away from this, say something, do something, because this is, you know, you're attached to this. Both you and your wife are attached to something, which, you know, you bang on about how much this situation with your mother traumatized you, to the point where you mention it in every moment you can use that as sympathy or to garner, you know, anything. And yet you're attached to a company which is in a way glorifying that very thing that very, you know, situation that you say was one of the most defining moments in your life, and yet you attach yourself to a company that glorifies that. I just find that sickening, actually. For example, if it was me, I would not want to be associated with anyone that brought up something like that to do with my family, someone I cared about. Even if it was someone that I didn't really care about or wasn't particularly close to, I still would not be attached to it. And I know that's just me. And as a therapist, if I look at it from a therapeutic perspective, I also find this very difficult to get my head around, how just for money, you can align yourself with a company that has put things out regarding your nephew and ridiculed him, has sat back and said nothing when Netflix aired that Cuties, which was, again, sickening, because it was, to me, exploitation of very young girls. Said nothing. And the fact that they do The Crown, they produce The Crown, and, you know, the way that they have depicted his father, his mother, his family even. To me, you know, that is selling your soul. When you put money above your morals, your integrity, you can't really go much lower than that, I don't think. And I think it's a real shame that Harry thinks that, well, I don't know what Harry thinks, in all fairness, but I think, you know, we can garner the fact that his wife has a lot to do with it. But he's a grown man. He could have said no. You know, he could have said no. He could have said, I'm not doing this. This is wrong. I'm not going to be associated. I'll be associated with anybody else, but I'm not being associated with a company that feels it's okay to exploit my family. You know, and it is a shame. It is a shame. And I just feel that he is so lost now. You know, we talk about, is there a way back for Harry? Is there a way that, you know, he can redeem himself? And I truly don't think he can. I really don't think he can. Now, I don't know whether his family will ever forgive him. I genuinely don't know. Possibly, if he separates from her and he makes amends, maybe, because forgiveness is a huge thing. But I think all the time he stands behind a company like Netflix, who, and just so you know, I didn't watch it on Netflix, for the people that might be coming at me going, why have you not cancelled Netflix? I have other way of watching it, but so no, it's not on Netflix. I don't watch Netflix. I just find it, I just find it just unbelievable. And I think when I try and look at it from a personal perspective or a professional perspective, I come to the same thing. You know, if Harry was sitting in front of me now, even as a client, I would ask him, how does he really feel about this? And I would be interested to kind of see how he justified, whether he just really does see it as not a big deal, whether the money was the most important thing. Does he regret that decision? Is he in a binding contract that he can't get out of, that the money's been spent and he can't give it back? Maybe. But it kind of makes you think that, you know, the Crown was around before he signed that contract. So you'd think that he would have had a conversation with Netflix to say, I don't know how I feel about this because of the fact that you produce the Crown. So I don't know. I'll be interested to think what you guys think, even though most of the time I can kind of guess. But do you feel that he sold his soul just for money? You know, I wonder how many other people would do the same thing. You know, if you were offered a lot of money but the fact that you knew that, would you do it? Would you do it? You know, if you were offered so much money. I know I wouldn't, but I think until you're in that position, you know, I guess some people might. I don't know. You know, everyone is different, but I think for the most part, I kind of, like I say, I kind of do guess that I know exactly what you guys are gonna say. I think, you know, looking at it again from a therapeutic perspective, if I was even going to look at it from anyone that's just coming to me and talking about family, I think even if you have fallen out with your family, there still feels to me that there has to still be, because it's about you then. If you're willing to trash talk, and I'm not talking about airing how you feel to somebody, you know, but it'll be like me, for example, falling out with someone, and then I come on here and I just talk badly about them just because we've fallen out. I would never do that, because that says more about me than it does about them. It says more about how I am as a person. So if we look at, you know, if you look at how you are, it's important to know that the things that we do matter. The things that we say matter. And even if you have fallen out with somebody, you know, like if I was sitting in front of a client, I would say, you know, why do you feel the need to do that? You know, what do you gain from that? You know, because a lot of the time when we do things like that, it's because we want other people to know the truth, or we want other people to be on our side. And I can understand that, especially if it's something where you've been wronged by a member of the family. I can understand that. There's two ways that you can do it. You know, you're getting people on side for nefarious reasons, because again, like we talk about Meghan Markle, flying monkeys. The more people she has on her side, then she can get them to do her dirty work for her. And it's also then isolating the person that is either her mark, or the people that she goes up against. Or there's, like I say, the other reason where you just want people to know your side, and it's important that they know the truth rather than whatever version the other person's saying. So, you know, there's different reasons why we do something, but the important thing is to look into yourself and ask yourself why. If you're finding yourself that, you know, talking about somebody, ask yourself why you're doing it. You know, are they honest reasons? And it's okay, even if you want to speak badly about someone because you're having a bad day and you're venting, but it's still, be honest in why you're doing it. I'm doing it because I'm angry. I'm doing it because I'm venting. And there still will be a reason underneath that. And for the most part, it's probably because you're hurt. So, yeah. So that's my little bit of advice that I would give to you, is if you're finding yourself talking about somebody, ask yourself why. You know, why are you doing it? You know, own it. And like I say, no matter which way it comes, it doesn't matter, as long as you know why you're doing it and you're honest about that. So I'm going to do you. No, I'm not going to do you. What does that even mean? I'm going to do your little thing for the day out of my jar. And the thought for today is, don't think of it, it was very interesting. Don't think of it as rejection. Think of it as a redirection. I like that. I really like that. Completely, if the thing I would think of is if when you're rejected when you go on a date and the person rejects you, and the amount of people that I talk to get so upset and hurt by that, and they take it really personal. And this is a classic example. Don't think of it as rejection. Think of it as redirection. So this was not meant to be. Not meant to be. And if you feel hurt by it, again, look at why. It's a chance to learn about yourself, but also think, you know what, actually, the right person is around the corner. If you're rejected from a job, it's easy to get caught up in the whys and wherefores and what have I done wrong? It might be you've done nothing wrong. It's just that it wasn't the right time, or it wasn't the right job, etc. So look at it as a redirection. So make a note of that. So don't think of it as a rejection. Think of it as a redirection. And maybe that will help you look at it from a different perspective. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I will be doing another one tomorrow. I'm hoping, depending on what my situation, but I might try and go live over the weekend. So I will let you know in the community page. But bear with me, because I've got just a lot going on at the moment. And like I say, which I keep complaining about, the menopause, I am not a fan at all. It can really go away now. And the more I read into it, the more I'm not even sure how long I've had it, when it stops, when it started. I genuinely don't know. So yeah, all I know is that it is knocking my energy. And I want to thank the lovely lady who sent me a box of goodies. At this rate, I'm going to be the size of a house after Christmas, and I'm going to not even going to come on camera. I'm going to be doing voiceovers because I'll be too ashamed of how I look. I'm just joking. Well, kind of not, but she also sent me a little lavender bag, which I will put under my pillow because it's very calming. And she sent me this pot of energy. It's like powder that you mix into some water or whatever it is. And I put it in my cherries and berries. And I have to say, it has given me an energy boost. It does actually work. I don't know. Do you know what it is? I sometimes feel that in America, and I'm not saying that I've tried other things in other countries. I haven't. I'm just going by the fact that this is kind of what I know. In America, they really do some really great products. And so this lady has sent me this, and it's just, yeah. And she sent me a little bag of Cheetos. Thank you so much. I've definitely got enough Cheetos to go over Christmas. And so yeah, and a couple of other little things and a lovely little note. So thank you so much. I'm really, really grateful to you. You are a lovely, lovely lady. And to everyone else who's been sending me some most amazing little things. Some things obviously are personal, they don't want on the channel, and that's absolutely fine. I respect that. But I'm also looking forward, like I say, to getting my little office done where I can just store everything and you can see it behind me, rather than my bedroom, which I know some of you are just like, yeah, not a fan, which I get, and it's fine, but it will be changing very, very soon. And I'm going to Christmassy it up as well. So hopefully you will all see that. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't want to miss future uploads, then please think about subscribing to my channel because it also helps the algorithm. Drop a little comment in the comments box because I always like to read them. I'm sorry that I don't get to answer all of you. Now the channel is growing. It's just really difficult for me to keep up with everything now. But just know that I do really, really appreciate you, and I do try and go in and answer as many comments as possible. If you'd like this video and you want to treat me to a cup of tea, the link is in the description box. It is under Buy Me a Coffee, so you can click on that. You can join up as a member. Speaking of members, I will be doing the member board again tomorrow. So please bear with me because I like to try and do them at least once a month because I'm just trying to catch up with everything. What else? If you want to join me on Instagram, if you want to join me on Rumble, if you want to join me on TikTok, you can. I'm trying to remember everything that's in my description box of the video. My PO box is there, so for people that have emailed me and said, do you have an address that I can send things to? The PO box will always be in the description box of every single video, and it's also in the bio of my YouTube channel. And yeah, so anything else really, you know, people have asked me where to buy the purple poppy. Oops, excuse me, got something in my eye. Where to buy the purple poppy that I spoke about yesterday. I have put a link in the description box of the video yesterday. So you can go in and find that there. And that's for the animals. So if you want to support those, and there's a couple of other charities that I've put in there as well. So yeah, so thank you again. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And as always, I love you, I appreciate you, but most of all, I respect you. So bye, Bubble family. Mwah. Bye.